All right. See if anybody's bored on a Friday. That's kind of tough to see, huh? All right. I realize I've never gone live on YouTube, so figured while I have a few minutes, I'm getting ready to sharpen up a plane and adjust fitting on a drawer for my chest of drawers. So I'm gonna be doing that. If anybody joins and you have questions or comments or what have you, throw them at me. I'm going to be here for a minute. Oh no. That's one of the worst parts about not having an actual studio. That's all right. We'll make do. And just like that, we're sharp. If anybody just joined, I don't really have a purpose to what I'm doing other than it's Friday night and I'm in the garage and I've never gone live, so welcome. Hope you guys are having a reasonable Friday. I'm missing a brush. Don't see any questions or anything, so I'm just gonna keep going. Stay, go, do what you will. Happy to have you here, though. That was quick. All right, let's keep going. Ronald, hi. You're Brazilian. I'm American. Hi. Or maybe I should say, I don't know. That's kind of American, you know? Whiskers boys play football, like as in American soccer? As in regular football for everybody else? There we go. Now that is a well set plane. Now it shrinks obviously because it compresses, but that's that. Wooden bendable ruler and the planer. The planer is the hand toolist's tool of choice, I find. It's a number 4 Stanley that I picked up on, I don't remember, eBay or maybe a Facebook Marketplace. I don't remember. I want to say it was a group that I'm in. If you're watching, all I'm going to be doing is I've got the second drawer right there that I'm going to be fixing and fitting. So I figured, why not watch it live? So this guy is a little tall on the back side, which we need to fix. And regular football. I like it. I mean, I'm not a sports guy, but, you know, do you? Let's see if that fits a little better. Man, that's pretty close. And then for giggles, we're going to break out the bigger plane, the number 5 jack plane. Let's make sure we're at least reasonably square. Perfecto. Now I'll come show you what I was actually doing. So, turn the camera. I was stuck back here. It was getting about that far. So I took a little bit off the top, and now it goes all the way back. So now, we fit the drawer back together and see if it still fits. A little heavy. I feel like that doesn't quite fit the way that it should. Be it a fact of matter. That went down. Well, why didn't you? I believe our recess is not quite deep enough. There it is. Found you. Un momento, and I'll show you what I got going on. Hello, Mia. How are you? Good, I hope. Better. Not quite. Man, that's still pretty proud. Oh, I almost knocked my teeth out right then. Nothing holding us off there. Alright. I'm gonna try and give you guys a top-down view so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can get this thing to balance. Alright, so all I'm trying to do is, I think we're a little high in these recesses, so I'm going to take them down a little bit because I don't think I did that after I cut these. Oops, headbutted the phone there. So then, we take the offending piece and we try to finesse it a bit. Yeah, there we go. A little clamping pressure, I think, will be gold. So, now, we move over here. I don't know that I can get a good shot of that, but we'll try. Hopefully you can see more than just my back. Alright. So this side's good. This side needs a little TLC. Let's keep it going. So now we move to the other offending piece. I need a hammer. So this particular piece is a little tall, which is why it's getting stuck. So it's high right here in the very back, which is actually probably more the drawer than this, but you know, I'm not going to adjust the I bet that gets it. What I was saying is I'm not going to adjust the carcass after it's already done. I'm going to test with this and then I'll come back. Close. Still just a little tight. coming at you. Watch out. One more time. All right. Now, both drawer sides fit, so let's put it all together and try it again. You heard that last thud, that dead sound? That's how you know you're fully seated. All right, so it's mostly fitted. Now it's just a matter of width. Check it out. So you can see in there, there's no space. And these also aren't fully seated. On this side, fully seated, no space. So we gotta fix that. But I'm not really gonna worry about that until after I get the drawer itself glued up. Whew. Little Friday night workout. What are you guys doing? It's most of the way. So there's still two things we gotta do. I have to fit the drawer back and then recess the drawer bottom and make the drawer bottom, etc., etc. Are you guys interested in that? That's something you want to see? Do you guys like what I'm doing on the channel? I hope so. I enjoy doing it. I am kind of curious though, if you're watching, how did you find me? Something I'd like to know. Drop it in the comments if you're feeling frisky. I'm gonna clean up the bench top and then we're gonna lay out for the drawer back. Which means we get to take it apart again. But this, in the words of Paul Sellers, is what real woodworking is. It's a lot of patience and learning and practice. It's also really a lot of assembling and disassembling. We're being honest. Alright, how can I turn that so you guys can see it a little better? Okay. I guess maybe that'll work. We'll see. It's a cool little trick I learned from watching, once again, Paul Sellers. Do what he does. So what I'm doing Because I'm lining these shoulders up. Because I know for a fact that those should correspond to one another on the front of the drawer. So any line or any cut or any measurement that I make is going to come off of this so that they're identical across the whole piece. So I feel pretty good about that. So I'm going to squish it together. And then I'm going to come into the vise. And in the vise, come back here. Hello. And I need to get a rough measurement of what my other drawer was to see how far back I ended up coming to put that drawer back in. Oh, that's annoying. It wasn't even in there. If I were a tape measure, where would I be? Probably in an annoyingly obvious spot. And I was right. It looks like I went something like 17 1/4. So I've got a 19.5 inch drawer. That leaves a pretty reasonable overhang. 17.25. We'll just do a knife nick. And then let's go in front. Just gonna make a small knife nick. So now we have a reference point. And we can continue laying that out. Yes, I think we will. So maybe you can see knife nick. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna lay my knife directly into that, and then take my square and use that as a reference point. It's kind of hard to do with the camera. I mean, you could do it like this. But then I gotta lay down and try and work with that. What I normally do is I offset it from my bench so I can get the knife in, like so. Now I know that my plywood over here is 1/2 inch plywood. I know I have a 1/2 inch bottom, so before I make this cut, I need to figure out where the dado is going to stop. Which means we have a 1/2 inch drawer bottom. We need to come up like 3/4 of an inch, probably. So looking like that. And that pencil line, if you can see it right there. Man, that is really hard to see. Is going to be my stopping point. So, back to the knife. Man, would you look at that's pretty amazing. That never happens. Almost perfect. Oh, there's a bug. Bye-bye, bug. Now it's going to get grooved out, so I'm not particularly concerned about stopping perfectly on that line. And this is what my drawer backs are going to be made out of, so I need a rough guesstimate of thickness here. And we're dead on 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. So I'll have knife hole here, and then I'll do a rough 3/4 from there, like so. And then pencil that in. Like so. So that I just get a rough kind of eyeball mark for where I need to be. Do the same thing to the other one. Except did I mark the wrong side? Did I really? That would seem a bit odd, but not impossible. So let's check. All right, so V goes in like so, which makes this the ball. And on the outside, no less. How the hell did I do that? Wild. See? Still learning. This is why I call myself an amateur. All right. So let's fix that. Oh, silly mistake. Good news is I only had a small knife nick on that one. So maybe now you'll be able to see a little bit better because I'll be working to you. Knife nicks right here. That's my forward line. We're gonna mark it there. And I know from here I'm working about a 3/4 of an inch set. Knife wall down. Three-quarters of an inch mark. I really should be using that as a reference face, but too late now. Just be gentle. That is roughly how you lay out a dado like that. There are two important pieces that go along with that. If you're interested, if you hang out, I'll do it. I'll give you an overhead shot. Maybe. Why does it do that? It's wild. Alright, so I'm gonna chop into this, define that a little bit, and then we'll lay out the other line a little bit. Good sharp chisel. Good chisel hammer. And here we go. Now, I'm not particularly trying to meet that knife wall that I made. I'm just trying to deepen that cut. So I'm going to jump back to the bench top, deepen this with some chisel and hammer blows. And we'll get to it. Maybe you can see. It's like I built the studio for this. That's going to be kind of weird to look at for you, I think, but bear with me, this should be quick. Whoa. That was a lucky catch on my part. Welcome back. And my chisel happened to hang out. I'm going to go back to the vise. And I'm going to define this wall a little bit more. Now I know I've got to go about 1/4 of an inch deep into this. So I don't know if you can see. I'm barely started. I'm like maybe 1/8 of an inch down. Barely. So I'm going to turn this around and maybe you can see a little bit better with my hand not actually in your way. What we're doing. Now that we've got a more defined knife wall, we can go a little more assuredly with the chisel and the mallet blow. Get this a little closer. And we continue. So we're going to go once more with a reasonable hammer blow. Get rid of some of this waste, and then we'll lay out the other line based on the back piece that I'm going to make. What a view. So, what that should do is give us a little bit of space. Well, damn. So you can see I've got this kind of slant started. And what I would normally do is have something cut to the length that I need it to be cut to. And then I would roughly try and put it in there. But I haven't gotten that far, which means that I now have to measure and cut that. So, yeah, let's do it. So my distance is going to be governed. Oh, that looked wonky. Oh, it's because of my screen. My distance is going to be governed by the where the dovetails exist. So we're going to go point to point and then add a 1/4 inch onto each side of that. So right in there. So we've got 30.5, which means 31 inches for our width. Rough edge. That is also a pretty rough edge. So what I'm going to do is make it bigger than it needs to be. Oh, good catch. Alright. Anyway. So ours needs to be dead on 31, so I'm going to go 31 1/8. Knock a knife off. I'm going to do this quick so that you guys are just sitting around watching me lay out. Now we cut it. Gonna go with our cross-cut saw. Oil on a can. If you've never seen this, Paul Sellers has a video on what it is, how he makes it, over on, I think, his YouTube channel. It helps. I thought it was silly until I made one. Alright, here we go. The idea behind the knife wall is that when you cut it out, it only frays on the side that you don't really care about, the waste end of the wood. Pretty quick, right? Now you can see that I was away from my knife wall pretty far, and you can tell that the fraying stops on my knife line, both sides, right? So my cutting, sawing in this case, wasn't perfect, but whose is? So what I'm going to do is take my recently sharpened number 4, right again again, and clean it up. And really all I'm doing is I'm working to this knife line that I established so long ago. See it right there, and that's a great shot. All I'm doing is planing down to that. And I'll have to come from the other side because I don't want this to break out. But man, not bad for a cheap wood, huh? Like I said, coming from the other side so we don't break anything. I'm a bit anal retentive about end grain, but that's what you end up with. On the other side, this is how it comes from the sawmill. Kind of looks like dog shit. But I can use this now to finish laying out for my dado to fit this. Watch. So, we need to decide. This is obviously too big. This still needs to be trimmed up, but which is going to be our outside face. So, I'm going to make, I don't know, triangle. This is going to be our outside face. So, face mark tells me 2 things. It tells me that this I want to be facing out, and this is the way that it's going to go in the scheme of things. So this is the bottom of the drawer. This is the back of the drawer. It's going like this. So what I'm going to do is put that right up against that knife wall, like so. And then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to reach just underneath, like I'm trying to get under a piece of wood, and make a little nick like that. Set this aside. And then my bottom of my drawer is my registration face. So I'm going to take my square, drop into that knife nick, and then run away. And then you end up with a clean line. So you can see that the pencil line is a little off from the knife wall. Happens a lot. That knife line gives us a very definitive line. So what you saw earlier, I'm going to do again here. I'm just going to define the knife wall a little bit more with the chisel and hammer. And work that down to the 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to set a gauge, mark the 1/4 inch, and then I'll come in with a router plane. Feel free to hang out. Same thing we were doing before. Oh no. Just on this side. I'm going to set myself into that knife wall. Try and be as perpendicular as possible. Gentle, the first one. Repeat. Didn't expect that to work. And if you are watching, you don't just have to sit there. Chat. I'm watching. We'll talk. I'd love it if you had questions. Like, hey, I don't understand what you're doing. It looks stupid as shit. A little harder. A little harder. I know it gets kind of quiet. That's my fault, but it's because I get focused on what I'm doing and I don't want to lose a finger. Solid hit. I'm going to clean this up one more time, and then we're going to rough out our depth. Hopefully you can see here. We've now got a pyramid kind of triangle thing going on. And our depth here is going to be 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to set a gauge, mark that, and then we're going to break out the router plane. Handy dandy marking gauge. 1/4 of an inch we're going to. I'm going to mark in between these two spots. So maybe you can see that way. Probably should have done that before I started cutting, for the record. But line's there now. A little more defined there, so you can see. So that's how deep we've got yet to go. My tool of choice, my preference is the router plane. So I'm gonna clean out this guy and then we'll drop that guy in. So I'm gonna take a 3/4 inch chisel or something in that vicinity, if it'll fit. And it does. And this is probably something you should see up close. Like so. At least closer. I don't know what else you can actually see. Yeah, we'll work with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started on that top. I'm going to point my chisel up and bump it. And then keep doing that to take that ridge off. And then 2 hands. Now part of it holds me off because of this ferrule, so I have to go bevel down to take care of some of this. Oops. That's the kind of thing you gotta be careful of too. You don't want to overshoot. Roughing up the edge there, so I'm going to move on to the old router plane. I have to back that off quite a bit. And to just be touching the surface here. That's perfect. So then, tighten it down a little bit. I'm going to 1/4 of a inch. Another 1/4. Another 1/4. Another 1/4. Until the majority of that ridge is gone. And then this will be a little easier to clean up. I wonder if the top-down view would be beneficial there. Turn. Now if you look here, you can see where this is starting to fray on the edge, and that just means that my wall isn't deep enough for the cut. So I'm going to take a knife, get right into that corner, and take that up. And then should come out no problem. And we've got about an eighth to go. You can see we're starting to do it again. Almost there. Sorry, I'm in the zone, but feel free, as always. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna hop off. Appreciate you guys following. If you like what I was doing tonight, I make videos about it, I make shorts about it. Go check out the channel. If you don't already subscribe, can't hurt. Otherwise, hope you guys have a good Friday. Kick ass. If there's things you want to do, go do them. Thanks, guys.